If you're a man over 60, there's a good chance you've woken up in the middle of the night, maybe once, maybe twice, with that same familiar urge to pee. You stand there waiting, wondering why the stream feels weaker than it used to. Maybe there's pressure in your lower abdomen or that dull, heavy feeling that never quite goes away. Most men shrug it off, blaming age or too much water before bed. But what if I told you it could be something else entirely? As a prostate doctor, I've seen this story repeat again and again. Men who eat well, exercise, and take their daily vitamins, all in the name of good health, still end up sitting in my office, frustrated, confused, and embarrassed by the same problem. And every time I ask the same question, what supplements are you taking? Because what I've discovered may shock you. One common vitamin, one found in almost every household cabinet, can quietly trigger inflammation in your prostate. It doesn't happen overnight, but slowly, subtly, until your body starts to signal distress in ways most men ignore. Before we go any further, I want you to think about this. What if the very vitamin you thought was protecting your body was silently working against it? Keep watching, because this discovery changed how I treat my patients, and it might change how you see your vitamins forever. For years, men have been told that taking vitamins is one of the simplest ways to stay healthy as they age. You've probably heard it too. Take your supplements, they'll keep your heart strong and your immune system sharp. It's advice that sounds harmless, even wise. But what if I told you that one of the most popular vitamins men take every single day could actually be fueling inflammation inside your prostate? The very supplement meant to protect you may, in reality, be the reason you're waking up 3 or 4 times a night. The culprit in many of my patients has been vitamin E. Yes, vitamin E, the so-called heart helper. It's marketed everywhere for circulation, energy, even anti-aging. You'll find it in multivitamins, prostate blends, and skin formulas. And many older men with the best intentions start taking high doses daily, thinking more must be better. But here's what they're never told. In large or prolonged amounts, vitamin E doesn't just thin your blood. It can quietly trigger inflammation in the prostate, making it swell and press against the bladder. I first noticed this pattern in a patient named Mr. Thomas, a 72-year-old retired carpenter. He came into my office frustrated, saying, "Doc, I feel like I live in the bathroom." He'd been waking up 4 to 5 times a night. His stream was weak, and he constantly felt like he couldn't empty his bladder fully. He tried herbal teas, reduced his coffee, even stopped drinking water after dinner, but nothing worked. When I looked over his blood tests and medications, nothing jumped out. His PSA was stable, and there were no signs of infection. But then, as I always do, I asked about supplements. Out came a long list: multivitamin, fish oil, and a separate 800 IU capsule of vitamin E every morning. "I take it for my heart," he told me proudly. "Been doing it for years." That was the turning point. See, while vitamin E does help protect cells in small amounts, it also interferes with certain hormonal and vascular processes when taken excessively. In men over 60, where circulation and hormone balance are already sensitive, too much vitamin E can thin the blood, reduce oxygen delivery to tissues, and irritate the small vessels that supply the prostate. The result is low-grade inflammation, the kind you don't feel right away, but that slowly makes the glands swell. Here's the part most men don't know. The prostate is surrounded by delicate veins and nerves. When those veins become engorged or irritated, often from supplement-induced blood thinning, it's like turning on a constant trickle of inflammation. The tissue becomes congested, fluid builds up, and the pressure starts to radiate toward the bladder. That's when the symptoms begin: the weak stream, the frequent urges, the sleepless nights. Mr. Thomas's case wasn't unique. I've seen dozens just like his. Men who believed they were doing everything right. Some even took vitamin E in the evening after dinner because they'd heard antioxidants work better overnight. But that's the worst possible time. When you sleep, your body's natural hormones shift, blood pressure drops, and your organs repair themselves. If vitamin E is circulating at that time, it amplifies the vascular relaxation effect, increasing pelvic blood pooling and swelling the prostate even more. You wake up with that familiar pressure, not realizing the cause is sitting on your nightstand. Once we identified the link, I asked Mr. Thomas to stop taking the supplement completely and to focus instead on food-based sources of vitamin E, things like almonds, spinach, and sunflower seeds. Within 3 weeks, he noticed a difference: fewer bathroom trips, better sleep, more energy during the day. His prostate didn't shrink overnight, but the inflammation started to settle. His words to me still echo: "I never thought something so small could make such a big mess." That's the danger of self-prescribed supplements. They promise health but can quietly disrupt the fragile systems that keep everything working smoothly. Vitamin E isn't evil, it's just misunderstood. In small, natural amounts, it supports your body beautifully. But at high doses or taken at the wrong time, it can flip from healer to irritant. So, before you reach for that next capsule, ask yourself, do I really need this, and when am I taking it? Because as we'll see next, what happens inside your body after swallowing that harmless vitamin can trigger a cascade of changes that your prostate feels long before you do. And that's where the real problem begins. When most men think of their prostate, they imagine a small, silent organ that only starts causing problems late in life. But what many don't realize is that this tiny gland, about the size of a walnut, is one of the most sensitive structures in the male body. It sits just below the bladder, wrapped around the urethra like a soft ring. When it's healthy, urine flows freely, hormones stay balanced, and everything works as it should. But when inflammation begins, even slightly, that ring tightens. The urethra narrows, pressure builds, and suddenly something as simple as a good night's sleep becomes impossible. Now imagine what happens when your bloodstream is flooded with excessive vitamin E every single day. At first, there's no obvious reaction. The supplement feels harmless, but slowly, cell by cell, that extra vitamin begins altering how your body handles hormones, especially testosterone. You see, the prostate depends on a delicate balance between testosterone and a stronger form called DHT, or dihydrotestosterone. Normally, your body converts only what it needs, but high doses of vitamin E can subtly shift that process, raising DHT activity inside the gland. And DHT is what tells prostate cells to grow. Over time, that microscopic growth becomes physical swelling. The tissue thickens. The blood vessels that feed the prostate start to expand. And with them comes fluid retention, tiny pockets of inflammation that your body can't drain fast enough. The result? A gland that feels full, irritated, and under pressure, even though you can't see or touch it. Or Mr. Thomas, my patient from earlier, experienced exactly this. His wife told me he used to sleep like a rock. Now he's up 3 times a night. She thought it was just normal aging, maybe too much water in the evening. But neither of them connected it to the shiny little capsule he swallowed with breakfast each morning. It took months of subtle buildup before his prostate finally sent a clear message. Urgency, weak stream, constant trips to the bathroom. What he didn't know was that inside the tissues were thickening and the small blood vessels were becoming engorged from daily overstimulation. If we could zoom in on a healthy prostate under a microscope, we'd see calm, uniform cells, neatly arranged, surrounded by smooth muscle fibers that expand and contract effortlessly. The gland breathes, it fills with fluid and empties as needed. But in an inflamed prostate, the picture changes dramatically. The walls look swollen, the tiny ducts narrow, and white blood cells start gathering in defense. The smooth muscles tense up like a fist, trying to protect themselves. And as the pressure rises, the prostate presses harder against the urethra, restricting flow. It's a quiet chain reaction that starts with chemistry, but ends with frustration, discomfort, and sleepless nights. Now here's where vitamin E's other effect comes in. Its impact on circulation. While small amounts help blood flow, large doses make blood too thin, slowing oxygen delivery to tissues. The prostate, already congested, struggles to get enough oxygen, triggering even more inflammation. Think of it like a traffic jam inside your pelvis. Too many red blood cells idling, not enough movement, and nowhere for fluid to escape. Over weeks and months, this congestion becomes chronic. That's why so many men say their symptoms came out of nowhere. They didn't. The damage builds slowly, quietly, with every extra supplement that tips the balance. It's the same story I hear again and again. I just wanted to stay healthy. And I always tell them, wait, it's not your fault. You were trying to protect your body. You just weren't told that even something as simple as a vitamin can have side effects when the body's already changing with age. The good news is the prostate can recover. Once the irritation stops, inflammation begins to calm, blood flow normalizes, and the tissue can soften again. But that recovery starts only when you remove the trigger, the daily flood of excess vitamin E. It's not about fear, it's about awareness, because inside your body, every small decision adds up. And sometimes the smallest habit is the one making the biggest noise. For most men, the problem doesn't start and end with a single vitamin. The truth is, the body is like an ecosystem. Everything you eat, drink, and do during the day shapes how your organs respond. The prostate is especially sensitive to these changes. It reacts not just to hormones or supplements, but to circulation, hydration, and even how long you sit in your favorite chair. That's why I often tell my patients, it's not just the vitamin, it's the environment inside your body that decides how it reacts. Let's start with something deceptively simple: water. Most older men don't drink enough of it. They'll tell me, "Doc, I don't want to be up all night going to the bathroom." So they cut back on fluids. But here's the catch. When you're dehydrated, your urine becomes more concentrated, irritating both the bladder and the prostate. That irritation triggers inflammation, and inflammation leads to swelling. Add a high-dose vitamin E supplement on top of that, and you've got a perfect storm. The body, already struggling to flush out waste, ends up holding on to toxins longer, amplifying the very pressure and irritation that cause nighttime urgency. Then there's movement, or the lack of it. Many retirees spend hours reading, watching TV, or sitting at a desk. It's comfortable, but your prostate pays the price. Sitting for long stretches compresses the pelvic floor and restricts blood flow. When circulation slows, oxygen levels drop, and inflammation lingers longer. I've seen men who felt better simply by getting up and walking for 5 minutes every hour. It's such a small change, but for the prostate, it's like opening a window in a stuffy room. Caffeine is another hidden trigger most men underestimate. A few cups of coffee might seem harmless, but caffeine is both a diuretic and a stimulant. It makes you produce more urine while tightening the muscles in the neck of the bladder. The combination forces your prostate to work overtime, trying to manage the increased pressure and flow. The result? That burning urgency or weak stream that so many men accept as normal aging. For those already taking vitamin E, caffeine compounds the issue by further stressing circulation and increasing oxidative strain on sensitive tissues. One of the biggest hidden risks, though, comes from combining supplements. Vitamin E by itself can cause problems in high doses, but when paired with calcium, something many seniors take for bone health, the effect multiplies. Calcium can thicken the blood and encourage microcalcifications in the prostate, tiny hardened spots that make tissue less flexible. Mix that with vitamin E's thinning effect, and you get unpredictable blood flow patterns that leave parts of the prostate swollen and others deprived of oxygen. It's like watering a plant unevenly. Some roots drown while others dry out. Over time, this imbalance creates chronic irritation that no medication can truly fix unless you address the root cause. I remember one of my patients, Mr. Ramirez, a 68-year-old retired bus driver. He came in with nearly the same symptoms as Mr. Thomas: constant nighttime urination, pelvic heaviness, and exhaustion. But his case had an extra twist. He was taking both a heart health vitamin E capsule and a calcium supplement for his bones. When I suggested spacing them out, increasing hydration, and adding a daily 20-minute walk, he looked skeptical. "Doc, you're saying all I need is water and a walk?" 3 weeks later, his wife called the clinic. "He's sleeping through the night again," she said. "It's like he got his energy back." The supplements weren't evil. They were simply too much for a body out of balance. That's the hidden truth behind so many prostate cases. It's not one villain. It's the combination of small, well-intentioned habits that collide inside your body. Dehydration, sitting too long, caffeine, and supplement stacking all feed into the same cycle of pressure and inflammation. The good news is that the cycle can be broken. Now, let's look at what actually calms the prostate instead. The natural shifts that restore balance, reduce swelling, and help your body do what it was designed to do: heal itself. When I tell my patients that the prostate can heal, I can see the doubt in their eyes. Years of sleepless nights, constant bathroom trips, and daily frustration make it hard to believe. But the truth is, your body has remarkable power to repair itself when you remove the triggers and give it the right environment to recover. Inflammation is not permanent. It's your body's way of asking for balance. And that balance begins with small, intentional changes. The first step is timing. If you're taking vitamin E or any supplement known to affect circulation, never take it at night. During sleep, your body's repair systems slow down and your hormones shift to rest mode. Flooding your system with a supplement at that time can interfere with this natural rhythm, especially if it thins the blood or alters hormonal activity. Always take vitamins in the morning, preferably after breakfast, when your body is most active and able to metabolize nutrients efficiently. This simple shift reduces overnight blood pooling and swelling in the prostate. The second step is dosage. Most men assume that if a little helps, more must help even more. That mindset is one of the biggest mistakes I see. Vitamins are powerful compounds, not harmless snacks. When reading your supplement label, pay close attention to the IU or milligram amount listed. For vitamin E, older adults generally need no more than 15 milligrams, or about 22 international units per day from all sources, food and supplements combined. Yet many products on store shelves offer 400, 800, even 1,000 IU per capsule. If you see a number that high, put the bottle back. Your body simply doesn't need it. Hydration is another powerful tool. It might sound too simple, but water is medicine for your prostate. It helps flush out excess minerals, balance hormones, and reduce inflammation. Instead of drinking large amounts at once, sip water slowly throughout the day. Think of it as rinsing your internal systems rather than flooding them. This steady rhythm supports healthy circulation and keeps your bladder calm at night. Clear or pale yellow urine is your signal that you're doing it right. Then comes food, the most natural form of healing. I encourage my patients to focus on anti-inflammatory choices: leafy greens, tomatoes, berries, salmon, olive oil, and nuts like almonds or walnuts. These foods nourish your body with antioxidants without the risks of overdosing through pills. Some men also benefit from reducing red meat and processed foods, which are known to amplify inflammation. And yes, coffee lovers, moderation matters. One small cup in the morning is fine, but avoid caffeine after noon to give your bladder and prostate time to relax before bedtime. If you're unsure whether a supplement is helping or harming you, talk to your physician. Bring the actual bottles to your appointment and review the ingredients together. Many men are shocked to discover hidden combinations, vitamin E blended with calcium, zinc, or ginseng, that may be doing more harm than good. A quick conversation could save you months of discomfort. I remember a patient named Robert, 75, who had been on a cocktail of over-the-counter vitamins for nearly a decade. When we simplified his routine, cutting doses, adjusting timing, and focusing on hydration and nutrition, his symptoms began to ease. Within 6 weeks, he told me, "I'm sleeping like I used to." His prostate didn't magically shrink overnight, but his inflammation subsided. The urgency disappeared, his energy returned, and for the first time in years, he felt in control again. That's what this is really about: control. Not fear, not frustration, but empowerment. The same body that became inflamed can calm itself when treated with patience and consistency. You don't need extreme measures or expensive treatments. You need balance between supplements and real food, between rest and movement, between caring for your health and trusting your body's natural intelligence. Your body can heal. You just need to give it the right conditions. Start small today. Move a little more, drink a little better, and rethink what you swallow. Each change is a message to your body that says, "You're safe now. You can relax." And when your body listens, your prostate follows. Every week I meet men who think they're doing everything right. They exercise, eat their vegetables, take their daily supplements, and trust that modern health advice has their best interest at heart. They don't smoke, they drink only occasionally, and they try to live with discipline. And yet they sit in front of me, tired, frustrated, and confused, asking the same question: "Doctor, how can I be doing everything right and still feel like this?" It's a question that never gets easier to answer because the truth is unsettling. The problem isn't always what we're doing wrong. Sometimes it's what we've been told is right that quietly turns against us. The habits that promise strength, youth, and energy can, over time, become the very things that make the body suffer. That single capsule, that evening supplement, that extra boost you thought you needed, it may be whispering problems you can't yet hear. I've seen it over and over again. A man takes vitamin E to protect his heart, not realizing it's swelling his prostate. Another adds a calcium supplement for bone strength, unaware it's thickening the blood that feeds his pelvic organs. Others double up on vitamin D for immunity, not realizing it's shifting hormone levels that influence prostate growth. None of them are careless. None of them are reckless. They're simply following advice that was never meant for a body that changes so profoundly with age. The body of a 70-year-old man is not the same as it was at 40. The metabolism slows, the cells hold on to nutrients differently, and hormone receptors become far more sensitive. What once nourished you can now overwhelm you, and yet the supplement bottles don't come with that warning label. They promise vitality, longevity, and confidence, without ever mentioning that too much of a good thing can quietly ignite inflammation deep inside you. I think about this every time a patient walks into my office with a list of vitamins in his hand. They all look the same: polite, hopeful, and just a little embarrassed to talk about their prostate. They expect a pill, maybe a prescription, maybe a short-term fix. But what they really need is awareness, an understanding of how every choice adds up. Because when you know what's happening inside your body, you stop fighting it and start working with it. Sometimes all it takes is one conversation, one shift in timing, one decision to skip that extra capsule. I've watched men reclaim their nights, their confidence, and their peace simply by listening to their bodies again. The swelling recedes, the pressure fades, and they finally realize something powerful. Healing isn't about doing more, it's about doing what's right for you. But there's something else I need to say, and it's what keeps me up at night as a doctor. Vitamin E isn't the only hidden trigger out there. There are others, supplements so common, so trusted that most men never question them. They sit quietly in the same cabinet, waiting to be swallowed, waiting to play their part in the story your body will tell years from now. So before you take your next vitamin, pause. Ask yourself, why am I taking this? Do I need it, or have I just been told I do? Could there be more vitamins hiding behind your symptoms? More healthy habits quietly steering your health in the wrong direction? The answer might surprise you. And in our next conversation, I'll reveal the next culprit, the one millions of men take every morning, believing it strengthens their heart, while it may be straining something far more delicate instead. Until then, stay curious, stay aware. And if you've experienced any of these symptoms yourself, share your story below, because your experience might just help another man discover the warning his body has been whispering all along.